Good morning. We are going to start learning about picture graphs. Later, we will learn about bar graphs and tally charts, but right now, we are going to learn how to gather data. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you stay with me. What do the pictures in a picture graph show?
Let's say we have two green cubes and three blue cubes. How many more blue cubes are there than green cubes? Use the first column for the blue cubes. Since there are three blue cubes, place one connecting cube in each box of the first column, one at a time. 1, 2, 3. Next, use the second column for the green cubes. There are only two green cubes, so place two connecting cubes in it, one at a time. 1, 2. Now, how can you use a picture to compare the cubes? First, look at the stacks of cubes to see how many more blue cubes there are than green cubes. So how many more blue cubes are there than green cubes? 1. There's one more blue cube than there are green cubes. A picture graph uses pictures to show information. This picture graph shows the number of children playing on the swings and slide at the playground. But what does each stick figure mean? Each stick figure stands for one child on the playground. How can you find the number of children on the swings? You can count the number of stick figures in that row. So how many children are on the swings? That's right. There are three stick figures, so there are three children on the swings.
Hi, Professor Berger.
Hey, Joey. Hey, Joey, where are your shoes?
Oh, well, we went for a really big walk yesterday, so I gave them the morning off. But they'll be here later, though. Yeah, I promised to bring them to lunch.
Wait, you promised your shoes
Yeah, you see, we
No,
were...
wait.
What?
Joey, every time you start telling me a story, I always forget to do the math. Let's have some fun doing a math riddle first, then you can tell me all about your shoes.
Okay.
Okay, come over here. Let's have some fun, because this involves lunch, so I think you're going to like it.
Oh, it's too bad my shoes aren't here.
And now look, here's a picture graph. And what I want us to do is see if we can read the picture graph and figure out how many children in all drink juice and milk.
Oh.
Now, the and is the cue that we want to add up the number of children that drink juice and the number of children that drink milk. So let's take a look at this picture graph and see if we can make sense of it. So
Okay.
this shows what we drink for lunch, and you can see the options: milk, juice, water.
And water.
And the key tells us that each little figure stands for one child.
Okay.
So to figure out how many actually drank milk, we just have to count how many children we see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So
Oh, a lot of people like milk.
Exactly. So I'm going to write 8 right here.
Okay.
8. And then how many actually drank juice? Well, I look at the juice line, and if I read across that row, we see 1, 2, 3.
3 juice drinkers.
Exactly.
Yummy.
So now, to put them together, I'm going to add, and that will tell me how many we have in all.
Okay.
And 8 plus 3 equals 11. And so we see that 11 children actually drink juice and milk. And the and, remember, is important to realize that means addition, and that's how we read a picture graph. We look at the key very carefully. We see that this little figure stands for one child, and then we just can count, and then we add. And that's it.
Oh, that was great. Maybe I'll make one for lunch with my shoes. Then we
That's a
can
good idea.
figure out later. You know, I really hope they turn up
Wait a
in
minute,
time for lunch.
What's that sound?
Oh, look it! It's my shoes! Come on, shoes! Oh, I'm so glad you showed up for lunch.
I thought he was kidding.
Well, since my shoes made it, I'll see you tomorrow, Professor.
Okay,
Come on,
Joey.
shoes, let's go to lunch.
Have fun with math. We'll see you soon.
Draw to show the cubes. Write how many more blue cubes. There are 2 green cubes and 4 blue cubes. How many more blue cubes are there than green cubes? If you need, pause the video, solve the problem, and then turn it back on so you can hear the problems again. Model and draw. A picture graph uses pictures to show information. Here we have swings and slides. Each stick figure stands for one child. There are 4 children on the swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are blank children on the slide. To find out, we count how many pictures are on the graph. 1, 2. So there are 2 children on the slide. There are more children on the swings or slide. You would write swings because there are 4, where slide is only 2. Okay. Our favorite activity at the fair. It is important that when we make a graph, each graph has a title. This tells us what the graph is about. And then these on the side tell us what information is going to be part of that graph. Animals, rides. Again, each stick figure represents one child. Use the picture graph to answer the question. Which activity did more children choose? Circle. Is it animals or rides? How many children chose animals? Count. Mark your answer. How many children chose rides? Count. Mark your answer. How many fewer children chose animals than slides? This is where it is going to get tricky. We have not done this in a long time. So one thing I want you to pay attention is what I'm going to do. I'm looking at my animals and I'm looking at my rides. There are 2 things you can do. First, you can draw lines like this, matching the pairs. So this animal matches with this ride. Animal, ride, animal, ride, animal, ride, animal, ride. How many fewer children chose animals? Well, there's no match here and there's no match here. So that is 2 children. Another thing you can do is actually count how many are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And we subtract 7 minus 5, which equals 2. Another way is just simply to look at how many empty spaces there are. And that tells us right here how many fewer or how many more there were. Moving on. This is filled out already for you. Use the picture graph to answer the question. We have milk, juice, and water. These are our people who chose milk, juice, or water as what we drink for lunch. Each stick figure stands for one child. So answer these questions by the picture graph. Number 5. How many children drink milk? Look at milk, count how many people are marked, and write the number. Pause the video anytime you need. Number 6. How many children in all drink juice and water? In all are important words. That means together. That is adding. So you look at the juice, you look at the water, and you add those people. Number 7, how many fewer children drink water than milk? Fewer goes back to what I showed you on the previous page. How many fewer children drink water than milk? You have to look and see how many chose water and how many chose milk. How many fewer chose water? If you do your matches, these all match up. There's this many without a match. Next question, how many more children drink milk than juice? It's similar in what we just did, except for it's using more children instead of fewer. And remember, when you're using more children instead of fewer, it's the same thing. It's the same kind of math. We look at our milk and we look at our juice. How many more? Well, if it was fewer, it's all the empty spaces. But because it's more, it's all the filled spaces. We have a match here. We're comparing them, a match here and a match here. They're all the same right there. The parts that do not have a match is that amount. This is how many more. All right. How many children in all drink milk, juice, and water? In all means everything. You're adding it together. Use your picture again to solve how many all had a drink at lunch. And number 10, 4 new children join the class. They drink juice at lunch. Now, how many more children drink juice than water? So you're going to come up here and you are going to change the picture graph with juice. Follow the instructions in number 10, add those numbers, and do the math. Numbers 11, 12, and 13 all go, and 14 all go with our favorite animal at the zoo. Remember, each picture stands for a child. You're going to write the equation and solve the problem. So how many children chose zebras and seals all together? That's adding. In order to do that, this goes back to what I showed you in the beginning. We have zebras and seals all together. We're going to count our zebras 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 children chose zebras. 1 chose seals. That goes right here. Remember, all together means add. So we have 5 plus 1. This is our equals sign, and that equals 6. I want you to try 12, 13, and 14 without my help, but I will read it for you. Number 12, how many more children chose lions than seals? 13, how many more children chose lions than zebras and seals together? And 14, use the graph at the top. How many children chose lions? Feel free and pause after each question that I read so that you can solve the problem, or rewind and listen to me read the question again. Then pause and solve the problem. You've got this. You are amazing and you can do this.